Hey everyone, welcome to the Tom and Rob show. I've got my coffee. Hopefully Rob has his, otherwise bad things are going to happen.
I do.
My name, he has his coffee. I'm Tom. He's Rob. So let's get started with this week's Tom and Rob show. Hey Rob.
How you doing?
I'm good. I got a question for you.
Right off the bat. All right.
Right
Okay.
off the bat.
All right.
Why did the hipster burn his tongue?
Why?
Because he drank his coffee before it was cool. Sorry, I had to do it.
Good morning.
it.
We're actually shooting the morning this time.
Yeah, we are actually shooting in morning because I have to go into work this afternoon. So it's 11:16 on the AM of Eastern time.
Yeah. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday of November 28th, 2016. Of course, this is going to get up until Wednesday. So to everyone watching and listening, I hope you're having a great Wednesday. I hope that your Monday turned out better than ours potentially will. Who knows? You'll find out.
Oh, all right. Oh, apparently I'm having a shitty Monday today.
Well, you know what? You're gonna now.
Now I'm going to. Yes.
Well, I got a long day. I'm working 1:30 to 10 tonight.
Damn, that's okay. That's
well, I mean, it's because if you work over 6 hours, you get a half-hour lunch. So you don't get paid for that half-hour lunch. So it's like I'm there for 8.5 hours, but I only get paid for 8 because half of it I'm completely like, honestly, it's like what I do in that period is I make myself some food, I sit in our back room, and I watch something funny on YouTube for a half hour.
All right, sounds pretty good.
Yeah, although today it's probably gonna end up being like I haven't watched the Jimquisition yet this week. And Casey Neistat finally posted his trip to Vietnam with his son.
Wait, did he really? Oh,
yeah, he posted that this morning.
Oh, well, probably
because you just woke up like 10 minutes ago.
I actually woke up at 9 o'clock.
Wow.
I woke up at 9. Listen, okay. So last night, because I knew we were gonna shoot a lot earlier today, I actually preset my coffee pot. So it was already set up. So when I woke up, I walked out to the room. I turned the coffee pot on. So that started brewing. I hopped in the shower. I showered, and then I set everything up, and I was good to go. I was ready this morning.
Wow. Yeah. You don't have a coffee pot that just you can set and it'll have the coffee ready.
No, the coffee pot that it's called like a little Mr. Coffee. I don't want a big coffee pot down here because there's not really enough room on my coffee nook that I have next to my like setup. So yeah, it's a manual one, kicking it old school.
Old school.
That's all.
You know what's more old school and better?
Oh, here we go.
A French press.
Mr. Fancy Pants over here.
Yeah.
Has to do the whole press thing.
I do go fancy. What's like? do you want to just get caffeinated sludge, or do you want to taste your coffee?
I mean, my coffee grounds are pretty fresh, and then it's. I mean, just.
I mean, it's all about that French press. No, but seriously, though, these people, you guys didn't come here to listen to me be a coffee nerd. Too bad. I'm going to be a coffee
maybe nerd. Maybe they enjoy coffee, though, Maybe they enjoy coffee.
Maybe
coffee connoisseurs like us.
Coffee.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, like, I would probably definitely agree that I'm a connoisseur. Oh, my God. Your mom just posted the greatest GIF ever. Calvin Johnson dropping the ball. Yeah, sorry. So shut up, cats. You can probably hear my cats. I shut them out of the office today because otherwise they can be a nuisance. So now they're just gonna be a nuisance through the door.
I actually saw one of their tails in one episode. I think it was last episode. You just saw a little tail just like go out like a shark fin.
Yeah, that's what they do. So before we started the show, I sent out a tweet, which hopefully some of you guys saw, saying that it's time to record the episode and asking if Rob wrote the show notes this week. To which Rob responded, with the wait, it was my turn.
Yeah.
And your mom, of course, then responds with a wonderful gif of Calvin Johnson dropping the ball.
Yeah, my mom tweets.
Yeah, she does profusely.
Yes, a lot. Yeah, my mom's more hip than I am.
So if you're Calvin Johnson, does that make me Matt Stafford?
I guess it does.
I mean, I'm kind of okay with that because he's having a pretty good year.
Man, drinking my coffee.
Okay, I was about to say, like, all right, so the little behind the scenes thing for you guys at home. We can't actually see each other.
No, we can't.
No, we can't.
We
So when
can't.
it looks like I'm looking at Rob, I'm literally just looking at my monitor. And I'm imagining what Rob is doing.
That I'm there. Maybe one day we will be in the same room, actually, looking at each other.
Maybe one day, but no promises. It's kind of like
promises.
the us being in the same room together is probably going to be something like the idea of us picking Dark Souls for Game of the Month.
Exactly.
It's like it's always there, the possibility that we will go against what we said and we'll do it because we won't.
No.
But it just might happen. But it won't.
Could, but it won't.
It could, but it won't. It's a non-zero chance.
Highly doubtful.
It's kind of like quantum mechanics, right? So like the whole idea that literally anything could happen at any time, but the possibility of it is so remote that it just won't.
No.
So, yeah.
And to start the day.
And to start the day, we're throwing out quantum mechanics and me making fun of Rob.
Yeah. Yeah.
So really, welcome to Monday. This is how we start every week. At least probably once a week, once a month. I tweet you when you're all like 11 o'clock. You're all like, yeah, I'm awake. And I'm all like, wow, welcome into the world of the living.
Yeah. It's like, woo. I remember the one time I tweeted, I was just like, good morning. It was like 11:59. And you were like, I've been
Barely.
up since like 6.
Occasionally I adult really well.
I try to.
I try every day. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I don't. Yeah.
I'm just I get on these I don't know, I guess you want to call them like little tiffs or whatnot. At night my brain just starts going. I start thinking a lot, and I just get really active with things, and I just start doing stuff. And then when I look at it, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 in the morning. I'm like, oh, I should probably go to bed right now and get some sleep and adult correctly.
Man, you know what I'm doing at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning?
Sleeping?
Reading books. No, usually asleep. But if I'm still awake at that time, I'm reading a book.
Okay.
Yeah. I've let me just double check my Goodreads here just so I can be completely positive.
What kind of
books? This year I've been reading primarily science fiction and military science fiction. Let's see. I'm trying to read a book on Japanese tattooing, and that one's kind of hard to read.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, but it's written like a textbook, and I had a hard enough time reading textbooks when I was in school. And it's just like there were definitely like I don't know. I don't know. I like things that are more artfully written, I guess.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Japanese tattooing's cool though.
No, Japanese tattooing is dope. And it's like a great subject, but like, I mean, it's just, like a boring person can make even the most interesting of subjects boring.
Yeah.
So that's not to say that the writer is boring. They're not. It's just that it's like you can tell that there's a deep connection to the art of Japanese tattooing, but he's not getting his enthusiasm across in his writing. So it's like I can read between the lines and see it, but it's not overtly there.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of getting to me. So
I don't know if I ever read something like that. Watching is really cool though.
No, absolutely. Watching it's cool. Getting them is cool. But yeah, so I've read 22 books this year.
Whoa.
Yep, 22 books.
Well, okay, that's kind of impressive. I remember you tweeting something out that you have like a book goal for every year.
Yeah, so yeah, I've read the entirety of Old Man's War by John Scalzi, which is 6 books. The entirety of the Frontline series by Marco Cluse, which is 4 books right now, and book 5 is supposed to be coming out later next year. Another John Scalzi. Rode the read not rode the World of Warcraft tie-in novel for Legion because I'm a sucker for those.
Was that good?
I mean, it wasn't the best,
Did
but
you
it
see
was
the
good.
movie?
Oh, that movie was horrid.
Was it? Okay, I heard it was.
It was just, I don't know, like it was one of the best and most damning critiques of the entire movie that I read. It was on Twitter and I forget who tweeted it out, but was that basically the orcs were phenomenal.
Okay.
But the sets looked like something you'd see on Buffy.
Oh, really? That's a shame.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just the movie spent so much time trying to explain what Warcraft was to people who don't play Warcraft that it lost itself. Because like it's just, I don't know, especially like the big tentpole stuff, with the exception of Marvel things, it comes the assumption that the audience knows nothing about it and is an idiot.
Yeah, I heard a couple of my buddies went to go see it, and they told me that they had to start explaining to these strangers what was actually going on in the movie, and it kind of just ruined the whole movie because nobody knew what they were watching.
Yeah,
so.
because not only is the assumption made that these people are idiots, and that's, you know, like especially hearing what I've heard through the grapevine about the production of this movie, that does not sound like that was what Duncan Jones, the director, set out to do at all, because he has a huge love of Warcraft. But it's just, I mean, when you're looking at a couple $100 million budget and you're looking at like a huge license like that, there's going to be a lot of cooks with their fingers in their in that pie. You know, so it's I'm trying to figure that all out. But it's just, you know, it's like the assumption is made that the audience is idiots and that they know nothing about it. But then when you're trying to like essentially handhold people through all this stuff while also still trying to be adept at storytelling, you end up treating everyone like they're an idiot. And it's just, I don't know, if I were going to do this, like the way I would do it right now, if Warner Bros. Came to me and said, "Here, Tom, we want you to make a World of Warcraft movie. Here's $200 million. Let's do this," I'd first off be like, "Well, you guys are high. Stop smoking your stop smoking your legal California weed and like rethink this decision." But then I'd be like, "All right, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to base it on World of Warcraft. We're not going to go through back any of the other stuff because we're going to assume, because World of Warcraft is huge and has been huge for 16 years, that people have at least heard of it. And we're going to just treat it like it's any other movie. Just it happens to have orcs and humans and goblins and gnomes and trolls and elves." You know, because like look at Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I was
yes,
just
Lord,
about to say
Lord of the
that.
Rings opened with like that 10-minute, like, here, let's get you all caught up on the important bits, but then threw you right into the story.
Yep.
You didn't need to be told any of the stuff that's in the book about how Frodo was the nephew and was adopted and Tom Bombadil, because despite all of those things being important to the book, they weren't important to the movie. You know, and it's just like, okay, so here's Frodo. He knows Gandalf. We all remember Gandalf from the time we watched the Hobbit cartoon a few times when we were kids. Gandalf is cool. He's a wizard. He has fireworks. That's awesome. Oh, hey, there's Bilbo. Bilbo has the ring. Oh, wait, the ring is kind of like magic crack, and we shouldn't be like using it. And it just it made sense. They didn't tell you everything. They didn't hold your hand. They just presented the story to you and allowed you to make your own conclusions and draw your own connections. And that's what World of Warcraft as a film would have to do. And also on top of that, don't tell a story that's already been told. Tell something small, maybe something that connects into a story that's already been told in the game. because like you want to give, to some extent, you want to give the audience their own, like, not necessarily agency is kind of the wrong word, but their own sense of ownership of the story. Kind of like video game players, like people who play World of Warcraft. Like I played really actively through to the end of Cataclysm. And so like defeating the Lich King, defeating Deathwing, those feel like my personal achievements. You know, so like
Okay.
I feel that I have ownership over those events of the game, despite the fact that a bunch of people did it before me, despite the fact that like the canon version of it is that like Thrall and Tyrion Forgeling did all that stuff. But I have a sense of ownership of that. And so if you give the film audience their own story that's independent of the games, that you know players haven't already gone through, they then kind of own that story.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you know, and it's just at the same time, it's like, and you know, we were supposed to be talking about Portal 2 right now, but now we're talking about video game movies, and I'm not stopping.
I caught Thom on a whole different level here.
A whole different level, and
I
it's
kind of
just
set a fire up on our own.
yeah, because this is something that I've thought about a lot, and it's just like, how do you make a good video game movie? And I'm going to say a few things that a few people are going to think is like really ridiculous. One, I like the first Resident Evil movie. Two, I like the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Okay.
All right, here's why. They caught the spirit of the games upon which they were based. Right? So it's like, let's look at Resident Evil, because that's the one that actually no, I've seen Mortal Kombat like way too many times, but I've also, but all right, so Resident Evil, the whole sense of mystery, what's going on, then finally the understanding of what's going on, how it's, you know, they catch that. And then I think one of the most telling moments, like the moment where that movie really just like clicked for me, was the bit towards the end, spoilers, where the boyfriend played by James Purefoy stops from shooting the other people as he does his heel turn and goes, I might need the bullets. Because up until that point, bullets were a rare commodity. And that's one of the biggest things of the original game, where it's just like, I don't have enough bullets. I have to run from this zombie. I might run into, you know, dogs later on. You know, and it's like, it was just like right there. I was like, oh, it's Resident Evil. Doesn't matter that it's taking place in a skyscraper that's built underground and that they're, you know, all this stuff. This is now Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like why the Mario Brothers movie failed for so many various reasons, but not once did it ever feel like the game. You know, and this is one of the things I'm really hopeful for the Assassin's Creed movie coming out next month, is I hope that they get what it is to play an Assassin's Creed game. And to an extent, it looks like they did.
I can't really see them screwing that up too bad. I mean, if you just look at the cinematics in the game itself, it looks cool. So, I mean, then again, though, I mean, you know what? I think I learned from you not to be that hopeful. And just, okay, it might be good, it might, you know, suck, but we'll see. But
we will see.
I can't see an Assassin's Creed movie being bad or straying away from everything.
Well, I mean, I can't see it either, but I mean, it's like
there's a possibility though that they can.
Yeah, I can't see black holes either, but they exist.
Very true. Very true.
No, I'm hopeful, but like, I mean, I'm gonna go see it because I love Michael Fassbender. He's awesome. And really, I like all the main people in that cast, or at least all the big names. I really like them. Like Jeremy Irons. I mean, come on, he was the best part of Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
By a wide margin. Real brief aside before we actually get to this week's topic. Batman v Superman premiered on HBO this weekend. And I don't have HBO, but I have HBO Go or Now or whichever it is, the one that's on Apple TV, right? And so Saturday night rolls around and I'm going out to Jersey Mike's to get some subs, and I come back and I'm like, hey, I'm with Misty, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna watch Batman v Superman because whatever. And she was like, okay, well, I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to continue to pack. And she's like, wait, didn't we see that? And I was like, yeah, you know how I like to watch things again. And I do. I like to watch movies again. I like to read books again. I like to play games again. And she's just like, but that movie was really, really bad. And I was like, yeah, sometimes I just hate myself. And she's like, no, like that movie was like really bad. And then it just really clicked. And I was just like, the only reason I would be watching that movie again would be for the warehouse scene where Batman beats up all the thugs. And then I was like, wow, that scene was really good. But then your enjoyment of it gets completely ruined when you realize that Batman pretty much killed all of them. And then it's just like, yeah, no, I have no reason to see this movie ever again. So I didn't watch it.
Oh, man.
I tell you, though, it's a great time to be alive because you have Marvel, who is just nailing superhero movies. And you have DC, who, like, for 3 great Batman movies was the king. And then Zack Snyder happened.
It's a shame, but whatever. What are you gonna do?
They'll
come around at some point.
About it incessantly until
they'll come around.
I mean, they'll come around.
They'll come around eventually, maybe.
Not at all. All right, so on to this week's actual topic.
Yeah.
Today, we have 3 things for you all. First, we're going to talk about Portal 2. Second, we're going to announce the December game of the month. And third is my week to pick something for the arcade. So on to Portal 2. And okay. I just snapped and pointed to the middle. So this is me telling you, while also telling the audience, that you need to put a Portal 2 graphic somewhere like here-ish in the middle.
So like somewhere
to sync up with my snap.
Like over here, maybe? Like maybe like right here?
I'm hoping,
or just in the middle of our cams, or
I'm hoping that like you're pointing towards the center of the screen.
I am,
because again, guys, we can't see each other at all. Like I can't see what he's doing. Like right now, he could be making silly faces at me, and there is no way that I would be able to tell. In fact, now that I've said it, he's probably making silly faces at me.
I would never.
So I totally didn't just make a silly face right then either.
Oh, man.
So Portal 2.
Yeah.
What did you think? Well, better question. Did you beat it?
Okay.
That's sounding a lot like a no.
I did not beat it.
Okay.
I played most of it co-op. So I haven't really even kind of dived into the whole single player, which I found out.
You played as the robots.
Yes.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that co-op and single player were completely different.
Mm-hmm. But and they interweave a bit, actually.
I did see that because what I did, I started to like look up some single player stuff. I'm sitting there, I'm like, why am I playing co-op? I'm playing co-op though because my one friend Sam, she really wanted to play it. She wanted to play co-op, and I was just like, hey, I have to play it, so let's play it. But I didn't realize that single player and co-op were different. If I would have known that, I would
entirely different.
Yeah, I would have went to single player to actually, I guess, get the feel for like the real story. Even though I do know some of the story, but
that's fine. I'm gonna spoil the ever-loving crap out of it.
Oh, cool. Whatever.
Yeah, so that's what you get. No.
That's what I get for not beating it.
I know. For not beating the game. But no, honestly though, you met the rules of the challenge.
Yeah.
Which was that you made an honest attempt. Now, that said, moving forward, we're definitely going to have to, like, if we run into a situation, we're going to have to, like, educate. And this comes because, like, honestly, next month's game, Rob put forth next month's game. Portal 2 really kind of, like, the genesis of even Game of the Month Club was Rob and I we were on Twitter or Discord or something, and we were just messaging each other back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to come up with bits for the show. Because we'd done one episode and the show's feeling, I mean, I think the show feels pretty good.
Yeah. It's actually it's every episode's getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I might talk too much, but I think that the show feels pretty good.
I mean, it's good. Because I like your little rants. You just go on because I like that about you though. You put like you have a lot of heart, and it's actually really interesting to see like your thoughts about certain things. So
I like a lot of things, and when I like a thing, I like it a lot.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So we were talking about bits for the show, and I think it was me who thought of the idea of doing game of the month.
Yes, it was.
So that way it was something that the two of us could do together, and something we could share with you, the audience, because we want to bring you guys in with the show. That's why we have the email address. That's why we throw our Twitters, and we'll probably do you have an Instagram, Rob?
I do.
Okay, we'll throw our Instagrams in the bottom of the YouTube description and the SoundCloud description as well. Because we want this to not just be our show, we want it to be our show, including you, the audience. So I could go off on a whole rant and the idea.
I was waiting for you to. I was gonna,
but I'm not going to. I'm not going to this time. I'll save it for whenever we talk Star Wars. So at the end of the day, so we came up with this idea, and so I looked at both of our Steam libraries because we were throwing it together at the last minute. Couldn't expect both of us to drop like 50-60 bucks on a game. So I was looking for games the two of us both had, and I was looking for primarily games that both of us had were one or both of us hadn't played it, or didn't have a lot of hours logged. And the only one that met that was Portal 2. We both owned it, and Rob had like 0 hours played.
Literally
0 hours played. So we started Portal 2. And then the rest is history, and now we're going to sit here and talk about it. Next month, though, I bought the game. Rob had gotten a free copy for review purposes or whatever. And so we're going to be doing that. That said, though, I played the first 20 minutes of it so far.
Oh, what the hell?
Whatever, man. We knew it was coming, so I played 20 minutes. I didn't get far. Shut up.
Okay. I have to catch up now. I got to put a timer on 20 minutes in.
Yeah, I literally got to I literally finished the first story mission. And not even the first story mission. I finished the tutorial.
Okay. How does it feel, though, at the moment? Is it
feels good?
Yeah.
I'm playing on PC, though, just so you know.
Oh, well, obviously, same here.
Yeah. It feels good, feels solid. But yeah, so we'll talk about that later. So Portal 2, I love Portal 2. I've played it several times. So I really, this time through, I just went and I played essentially my greatest hits levels.
Okay.
Like the bits where I really loved the most, and especially like the more story-y bits.
Mm-hmm.
Because real quick, spoiler warning.
Should I put like something up on the cam when it's spoiler? Like
I just did like a big hand gesture. So if you could it's like one of those like double sweeping out kind of hand gestures, you could probably just have like spoiler appear right there.
Okay. Big and red.
Yeah, big and red. So I'm gonna spoil Portal 2 to some extent. Portal 2 is a direct sequel to Portal. And if you haven't played Portal, Rob, you should definitely give it a shot, because it is a really good game. And especially like, it's just the idea of portals and literal 4-dimensional problem solving was something, or puzzle solving was something that really, to my understanding, with the exception of, I believe the game was called Narbuncular Drop or something like that, which was the tech demo that Valve then bought the team to make Portal. I probably got the name horribly wrong. Somebody's going to post it in the comments, and I'm going to not feel horrible. But so it's just this really wonderful idea, and like it's the cake is a lie, still alive, blah 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 blah. And so Portal 2 picks up not immediately afterwards, but the players are again playing Chell, unless you're playing the multiplayer, at which point you're what are the robots? Atlas and something else. The two test robots, which GLaDOS and oh God, Wheatley, can test on forever without ever feeling bad because they can't ever die. And thanks to the magic of TV and the internet, we are back.
We are back.
We're back. It is, in fact, Tuesday. As you can tell, I'm wearing a different shirt.
Same.
Rob has told me he's wearing different clothes. I have no way of verifying this because I can't actually see him.
No.
I guess I'll just have to watch everything when it goes live tomorrow on YouTube.
Yeah. And neither one of us wearing hats. Usually we wear hats. We're not wearing hats.
I'll be honest. I tend to wear hats because I'm lazy.
Same.
And I don't feel like doing my hair. Which is like the best thing about my Starbucks is we just went back to being a hat store on November 1st.
Oh, so you have to wear hats?
Yes, we have to wear hats.
Okay.
So what's nice about that is that I no longer have to do my hair before I go into work.
Oh, that's like the life right there.
I know, right?
Yeah, just throw on a hat.
Yeah, I wear the hat. It's that really sweet newsboy. So, man, look, people, I care about my hats, man. Like, I can't just wear a baseball cap unless I'm going to a baseball game. But,
like,
like
specific hat for like a certain occasion.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just one newsboy's a classy cap. But either way, that is a talk for another day. Yeah. We only at this point have like what we guesstimate about 20 minutes, and we still have to talk about Portal 2, which is all my fault because I spent all of yesterday talking video game movies, which could really be its own show.
It really could, but hey,
it really
there
could be. We got to announce next month's game of the month, and we also have to put a game in the arcade. So yesterday, just a quick recap. This is primarily for us because we should have done this before we started recording. So sorry, internet, we screwed up.
Sorry,
but Rob played only the co-op campaign, and I played the single player campaign. But it's just so really. Let's jump right into it. What did you think of having to solve puzzles in 4 dimensions? Those being obviously the XYZ directions, and then also time itself.
It was interesting. It was fun. Some of them actually, I know I mentioned this in a recent podcast and how it usually stumps me, and that's why I didn't play it. But now, once I actually jumped into it more and actually played it, it was really good to be stumped for once and really have to figure out something without looking online for the answer.
Yeah.
You know, it was because the satisfaction of actually figuring out, I was just like, I'm a genius. I mean, that might be just on my part, but
I mean, look, man, I'm not going to say that there weren't moments in Portal 1 and Portal 2 where I solved a particularly difficult puzzle and did not declare myself a genius.
Okay, perfect.
Because, I mean, it's just like even the simple ones. It's like the way that the levels are designed are set up in such a way that it slowly builds you into the thought process of solving a portal level. And more importantly than that, there's a very early level on the single player side where it starts to teach you that like they do a great job of just teaching you that things are not always how they seem. Like you look at a puzzle and it's like prior to this point, the cubes, like the prism cubes that you can use to redirect lasers. There's a level early on in the single player where they have an exclusion barrier set up and a laser, and they on one side of the exclusion barrier is where the laser is, and on the other side is where the cube is. And up to that point, you have been told that the cubes are only for redirecting lasers. But the kicker is that you have to defeat your preconceived notions of this, because the point of the cube is not to redirect a laser, but for you to literally just stand on.
Yeah.
So you can fire a portal through the one teeny bit of the wall that didn't have an exclusion barrier on it. Yeah, and it's just like I remember, like I've played this game so many times, and I'm literally sitting there, and it's like this is like my fifth or sixth time through that puzzle, and I'm just like, how do I do this again? I know I solved it, and it's like not only have I solved this, I've solved this a lot. I'm just like, come on, man.
What I want to know is some puzzles that we were doing, it felt like we didn't accomplish them the way that they actually designed it. Like I felt like sometimes we went through the level kind of a different way than what we were supposed to, if that makes any sense. Like, are there actually like sometimes like I guess like loopholes or mistakes sometimes that you can actually get to the exit?
I wouldn't say that there aren't.
Okay.
Simply because it's like when you're designing a game or you're designing a level, you can't always predict exactly how players are going to act. You can't always predict what players are going to do. Okay. I mean, like in other games, you frequently, like looking at stuff like Overwatch, how they'll nerf some players because they're like, oh, well, this is an unintended consequence of how powerful McCree was. Or, things like that. And it's just like, this is not how we intended to do it. We didn't anticipate anybody would play the game this way. But I'm pretty sure that with Portal, especially in later levels, that there are multiple paths to success. Like that there isn't just one rigid solution to the problem, because like the strength of Portal is that freedom to experiment.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's in addition to having just immaculately designed levels and having, at least on the single player side, a really engaging story, which doesn't like, I mean, it's a really engaging and very interesting story, especially in Portal 2, which one really wouldn't expect from a puzzle game. Because there's a great moment like about the middle or the back half of the game. The player defeats, or about halfway through the game, the player defeats GLaDOS already, and replaces her with Wheatley, which then causes a whole bunch of unintended consequences of Wheatley being absolutely insane and stupid. And he puts GLaDOS essentially in a potato battery.
I'm gonna have to play single player now.
Yeah, you got to play a single player. And so you start running through. So he puts GLaDOS in the potato battery and then boots the two of you down into the ruins of old Aperture Science. And it's like so instead of like these really well built and constructed test chambers, you're now in like these plywood.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Of like the 1950s.
That's awesome.
Well, really the 70s ish, I guess. They even go into why the portals can only be placed on certain surfaces. It's a special additive to the paint. That's all I'll say. And it also looks at the original creator of Aperture Science as well. And you get to figure out the character of the father of Aperture Science through these like canned bits of dialogue before all of these extra test chambers. And he's voiced by J.K. Simmons, who is at least will always be known to me as Vern Schillinger on Oz from HBO. But to other people, he was J. Jonah Jameson in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and he's going to be playing Commissioner Gordon in Justice League, whatever it's called. So he's at least been in like two good things, but
two good things.
So he plays the founder of Aperture Science, and he's completely loony and high energy and fun. And there's a great line in there where he gives his own take on the old saying of what to do when life gives you lemons. So I mean, the single player, aside from just great level design, is entirely worth it for what happens around the player. Like,
yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to play single player. Now that you're actually talking about it, I'm like, why did I even hop in co-op? I should have just played single player from the start, but
because you were scared.
I don't know if it was because maybe.
But I mean, it just goes to show like that the people at Valve, they aren't just Half-Life and Team Fortress and Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
You know, they can make like Team Fortress is just laugh out loud, completely ludicrous game. Half-Life is very serious, hard sci-fi, like adventure. I'm not going to call it an epic because I don't think it really fits into that genre, though it is epic in scale.
Yeah.
But Portal manages to balance the kind of introspective nature of Half-Life with some of the humor of Team Fortress. And it's just, it in a way, it kind of makes it, at least for me, it makes it a lot more relevant. It makes it a lot more poignant. It makes it a lot more relatable. Like it's definitely, it's a lot more emotionally hard hitting for me.
Yeah, I just like the fact that it makes you think outside the box.
Quite literally in some cases.
Yeah, seriously. It really does make you think outside the, because I'm sitting here and you know, I'm a really big, you know, first person shooter gamer, but like when it comes to Portal, I sat here and I actually enjoyed it. You know, and this is coming from somebody who only plays shooters, and I'm coming into like a puzzle game that's really engaging though. It made me sit here and I'm like sitting here thinking like really hard, like, okay, well, what if I can put a portal here? I can put a portal over here that'll shoot me up over here. But now if I take the bridge over this way, it made me start thinking.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's what I like about it.
And I mean, there's a great there was that what was it, back in 2010, I think it was whenever it was that Red Dead Redemption came out. I think it's 2010, when Roger Ebert, the late great film critic, said that video games couldn't be art, which for us gamers sparked a lot of outrage because of course video games are art. And games like Portal 2 definitely solidify that notion for me. Like, I'm not going to say that Red Dead, like games like Red Dead and Call of Duty and Halo aren't art. Like, I won't say that at all, because especially the idea of, because art is such an ephemeral thing.
They're just a different kind of art.
Yeah, it's a different kind of art, you know. Like those games are like they're the Marvel movies. They're the Michael Bay movies. You know, sometimes they do have something really good to say. But by and large, they're there because for bright colors, for fancy action scenes, and a lot of just escapist fun. But games like Portal are like those art house cinema films. You know, they are very good to look at. They're very engaging, but their primary purpose is to tell you something. And Portal 2 just so exquisitely succeeds in that, in a way that so few other games do.
It's and there really hasn't been anything like it since.
No, there hasn't been anything.
I tried looking up.
There's nothing like Portal.
There's nothing like Portal.
Yeah,
there really isn't.
For better or for worse, there's nothing like Portal. And I think, honestly, personally, I think it's for better.
Yeah.
Because I don't, as much as I would like to see another Portal, it's just, it's lightning in a bottle. It's not necessarily once in a lifetime, because obviously they've done it twice and it's been highly successful both times. And in my personal opinion, I think that Portal 2 is significantly better than Portal. But it's just, it's the kind of game that can't be made on a timetable. You know, like, it's you can't put it out on a predictable schedule. Like, it's the kind of game that you got to keep secret for a while and play with it, and you gotta tweak it. You gotta let it get through its awkward teen years. You gotta let it like grow up and blossom into an adult, and then only show it off when it's polished, when it's pretty, when it's smooth, and when it's ready.
Yeah. I think they pretty much left it up to a lot of the community too. There's a lot of community made maps from Portal. They're actually really good. I've played a few of them.
Yeah, Valve
playing
is
that.
all about supporting community. I mean, giving people just the tools to create things like Gary's mod.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the stuff that's been done with Gary's mod. I mean, hell.
How old is Gary's mod?
I don't even know. It's Half-Life 2 old.
Well, yeah, but it's still relevant though.
It's still relevant
to today.
And the crazy thing too is that, at least personally for me, is that Half-Life 2 and the Source engine are still relevant today. I mean, I gotta double check here, but I feel
half
like
the mods are made off of Half-Life 2 still.
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, Half-Life 2 itself, came out in 2004.
Wow.
That's a 12-year-old engine.
Wow.
And I mean, amazing stuff is still being done with it. And like, I mean, it definitely looks dated, and especially going back to play Portal 2, like the load times on it are just horrendous.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, one of the limitations of Source. And I mean, Source is a wonderful and it's a powerful engine. And if memory serves, and I could be wrong on this, Titanfall is running off of like a very heavily modified version of Source. And so is Call of Duty. But I could be wrong about this. Don't quote me on it. But either way,
right?
Again, we could talk about this all day long. And I just looked at my watch, and we only have about 9 minutes left. So we
gotta wrap this.
Up. Sorry, guys. Again, it's all my fault. So Rob, since Game of the Month for December was your pick,
it is now yours.
Take it away.
Well, wait, what?
Announce the damn game, Rob.
For some reason I thought we were talking. We were doing the arcade. I was just like, wait, I did last month. I did last week's. Okay, so the game of the month pick for December is Titanfall 2,
which I am very much looking forward to.
Yeah. I have not touched campaign. Apparently, Thom already went ahead and played 20 minutes of it. All right. Apparently, he already went ahead. I played a few multiplayer games, and I actually really enjoyed it. The game seems very, very, if you want to say, polished from the first one. Right. It seems like they've corrected everything that went wrong with the first one. Listen to the community.
Think the first one felt really good, but I mean,
well,
that's just me personally.
Obviously, there were some things that were off because it was one of the games that there was the first time that wall running was implemented into a game, kind of, like in a shooter.
Okay,
and mechs, and obviously from there, Titanfall, the first one, it had a lot of hype. And then it kind of just fell off after like a month, and everyone forgot about it because it came out obviously before I forget what Call of Duty and Battlefield came out at that time. But once those two games came out, everyone kind of forgot about Titanfall. But this Titanfall 2, people are actually still talking about it because it's actually really good. And I heard the campaign is really good too. And this is the first Titanfall that there is a campaign.
There's a good write-up on one of the best levels from the game that I'm refusing to read until I play the level for, want to avoid spoilers. And when we come to our Titanfall 2 discussion, I'm going to make sure that you have access to this article and we both read it and we can sit down and talk with it. It's written by a video games journalist, Patrick Klepek, who's just really awesome. And I got to hang out with him once. He's a really cool dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
But, so Titanfall 2, December game of the month. Play along with us if you'd like. Let us know. Don't forget to shoot us an email. Let us know all that stuff. And
absolutely.
All right. So now we're going to take a stroll over to the arcade. Our first week, we put in a Microsoft game. Our second week, we put in a Sony game. And this week,
what are we putting in?
I'm putting in a Nintendo game.
Okay.
And today I brought with me a tiny disc that goes into a Nintendo GameCube.
Oh, GameCube.
Now, this game, let me just do a quick It's a quick game. This game was released in June 24th of 2002. And it was developed by Silicon Knights. Do you have any idea what it is?
I'm trying to think right now.
Trying to think?
No.
Okay. This game, it holds a very special place in my heart. And it is Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem.
Okay, I've heard of it. I've never played it, though.
I'm not surprised. Like, nobody played it.
I have heard of it, though. I remember it.
I remember reading the review of it on GameStop, and I absolutely was I just had to play it. The big thing with this is it's like a very Lovecraftian horror game with normal people going up against otherworldly terrors and kind of going crazy. And in fact, they literally go crazy because there's a sanity mechanic. So everybody you have health, you have mana, and you have sanity. And as your sanity goes down, you run into the increased possibility of having a psychotic episode.
That's nuts.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely nuts. And some of them really screw with you. Like one of my personal favorites was I was playing it, and a good friend of mine was watching me while I was playing, and I'd seen this one before, but it made it look as if a cockroach was walking across the TV screen.
What?
Yeah. And my friend took off her shoe and smacked the front of the TV. And if she's listening right now, she'll know exactly who she is.
Good thing we had those hard screens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, back in the day of CRTs, I mean, like,
yeah,
stand up to bullets. And it's just there were a bunch of these different psychotic breaks that could happen. And it was just this. I mean, it didn't control horribly well. And like even by GameCube graphics days, it wasn't all that great, but the idea was solid. It played well enough, and just bringing in the idea that the player could go crazy and then make the player think that something was seriously going wrong.
Like they were going crazy.
Yeah, because the first time you run into a lot of these things, it really messes with you, and then even the second time, it can still get you if you're not fully paying attention. And at least for me personally, the sense of immersion in the game was so good that some of these tricks got me more than 1 or 2 or 3 times. It's just, it was really well done. The pacing was great. And it was something completely different, and certainly something that nobody expected to see on a Nintendo system.
Okay.
I mean, hell, it was rated M for mature.
Huh. Well, I've never played it. From the sound of it, I enjoy horror games. And I'm going to have to accept that just because it's a GameCube game. And I love GameCube. And I always thought that GameCube was a very underrated console.
I would 100% agree with you.
Very underrated. It was a very good console. It had a lot of potential. Kind of sad to see that it only had a very short lifespan.
Yeah.
But we could definitely put that in. 100%.
I'm nodding in approval. With a thumbs up.
Okay.
So
it just, you don't see games like that. Like what? Why don't I see games anymore. Like that? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that actually sounds kind of cool to play, and I'm like,
there was a Call of Cthulhu game that came out for Xbox a year or 2 later, but I mean, I never actually played that one, and apparently it was horrible. But yeah, it was very interesting. It was just a great take on things. But again, another thing I could spend all day talking about. But we gotta go. We gotta go.
Yep.
We will be back next week. We had an idea of what we were going to do next week, but after we finish recording, we have to like re-talk it over because I'm, as some of you guys know, I'm moving to Milwaukee over the course of the next month. So we're going to be recording a lot of shows between now and when I actually start my move so we can meet our weekly deadline. And then hopefully after I get all settled in, we'll be getting right back into things.
Just to keep you guys content.
Yeah, just to keep you guys, make sure you guys have something to watch. Make sure you got reasons to come back to the channel. Yeah.
All right.
So thank you all for watching and listening. If you're over on SoundCloud, my name is Thom. This guy over here is my friend Rob. Feel free to shoot us an email, a tweet, Instagram stuff, whatever that is. Yeah. I don't snap, so no Snapchat. Sorry. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Later.